Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with Jazz Vibraphonist Warren Wolf. We caught up with him on May 13th, 2020 in the midst of the COVID-19 quarantine to discuss his latest release, Reincarnation, and this odd new world of no live jazz, along with the hope. Enjoy.
What's happening, man?
Oh, man. Just trying to get through this surreal reality of ours. How you holding up?
Man, I mean, I'm holding up cool, but it's just the whole thing of it is just completely sucks. That's all it is.
Man, if someone would have just shaken me in the middle of the night 3 months ago and said, "Look, this is what May 13th is going to look like," I'd be like, "Dude, just let me go back to sleep."
Pretty much, yeah.
You know,
I think all of us are like, this is a bad nightmare right now.
Oh my God, it just won't stop. So, but I want to talk about positive things. I love Reincarnation. I've really, really dug it. You know, not only do I always enjoy your work, you know, you wove in a song about your mom. There's deeply personal things going on with this album. So, talk to me a little bit about the artistic approach that went into this recording project.
Well, the most important number one was to, you know, all of the previous records. I think I've done this is my fourth record on Mac Avenue, but overall this was my eighth project total. And all of them have been in the straight-ahead jazz vein. And all of these records have taken place over the past 20 years. So with me just turning 40 in November of 2019, you know, I had some friends, you know, just saying, "Man, why don't you try something else?" And, you know, this style of music, R&B and soul and all that type of, you know, groove-oriented music, it's always been in me because I wasn't raised. I mean, I'm only 40. I was born in 79. I wasn't raised in a jazz household. I was raised in a music household, you know, where I heard all types of music from Motown to Anita Baker, Yellow Jackets, LL Cool J, New Edition. I have two older sisters, so that's why I mentioned those last two groups. And, you know, all of those songs were just always around the house. So my friends were telling me, "Why don't you try something else?" You know, straight ahead jazz will always be there. You can do that, and you've proved that. But what else can you do? What else can you say to a different audience? So I was like, well, maybe it's not a bad time to go ahead and try something. Or not try it. Not a bad time to just go ahead and do it. So I went ahead and created this record that was full of grooves and just feel-good music. Music where people don't have to just bounce up it. You can just turn it on and just listen to it, and it just feels good.
I mean, isn't that kind of where jazz, to a certain degree, is going? I mean, it's almost kind of like we're amalgamating different genres together. I mean, if there's anything about jazz, it's never been static. It's always been fluid. There's always been reinvention. I mean, look at Miles' career. Look at other cats that have been around for decades. That's just what happens with jazz.
That is true, but then there's been a certain group of musicians over the past 50 years who have been kind of, and there's nothing wrong. There's beautiful music, but they've been stuck around this whole, between like the 1950s or 1960s Blue Note sound, you know, which is pretty much just straight ahead jazz. And we all need to learn how to do that. But, yes, there have been many musicians, like you said, from Miles Davis to, I'm thinking about like Tony Williams and Chick Corea, and, you know, all those guys have just continued to do different things. And then you look at the artists of today, you know, I like to always reference like Esperanza Spalding, Christian Scott, Robert Glasser, of course. All these guys and gals, they're all straight ahead jazz musicians at heart, or just jazz musicians at heart. But, you know, we love playing multiple other styles. And, you know, it's good to just do something else, try to bring in some different audiences, try to just keep it young, keep it music of today. You know, how can we integrate that stuff into our sounds?
You know, the one thing I did want to talk to you about too is this new, you know, jazz COVID-19 world. And I guess one thing, you know, when we talked about 9/11, everybody remembers where they were at when the second tower got hit. So my question to you is, when did you know that there was that massive domino falling and things were going to start getting snarfed out?
I pretty much knew like around the week of, I think it was March 9th. I was on tour in Northern California in the Bay Area with vocalist Cecile McLaurin Salvant. We were working on this piece that we've been working on, not just Cecile and I, but just a whole orchestra. It's called the Ogress. It's a brand new piece she's working on. It's through composed 90-minute piece, and we had 4 dates that week. Like we had say we had one day Monday, next day off, then a date the following day. So the first date we were in University of California, Davis, at the Mondavi Center. That one we managed to play. We had the day off the next day, and then we went to the Paramount Theater in Oakland. While we were on stage sound checking and getting ready to, do a full ensemble check, we got noticed right there when the entire ensemble was on stage that show wasn't happening. It was canceled for the night. Next thing you know, we were supposed to play at Stanford University. That was canceled for Cecile. The show after that we had scheduled for Disney Hall in Los Angeles was canceled. Now, I was not scheduled to do the Disney Hall show because I was scheduled to go out on tour with the SF Jazz Collective. Eventually, during the course of that week, once all of Cecile's shows were canceled, I got an email from SF Jazz, and they said, "Hey, we're sorry to announce, but the entire spring tour is canceled." So right around that entire week was when it just a bombard of emails and calls and things came through, and that's when we all realized as musicians that things just got really serious, and everybody's work just got canceled like within a matter of a week.
Wow. How has this 2 months of what we've been going through so far changed you, not only as a person, but artistically?
Well, it's positive and negative too. More positive. For me, I've been on the road for 20 years almost, on and off for 20 years. And then in the past 4 to 5 years, I've recently been diving into the classroom between, working. I mean, I'm not there anymore, but I worked at Temple University for 2 years. Currently, I'm at Peabody Conservatory in Baltimore, and I'm working adjunct at San Francisco Conservatory of Music. So not being on the road or traveling, getting on airplanes and things like that, getting on the trains, it's enabled me to be home more with my kids and my wife. My kids are not always have to wonder, like, where's Daddy at now? Where is he at? We never see him. Now they get to see me. Another positive side is that I actually get to sit down and I get to work out things that I wanted to do for a long time, like practice-wise, and I get to learn new things. Like, for instance, I'm actually, right now, I just received the last few pieces that I need for my small home studio in order to do work for people remotely. So I'm learning how to finally operate all of that stuff. But it's more positive, just even outside of music. I've been cooking a lot more. I'm not eating out as much as I normally would. But I think the one negative thing that we as all musicians, and this is across the board, no matter the style of music, we all miss playing with each other and having that audience presence. There's nothing is like being on stage and performing with a live audience. And it's going to be quite some time before, that comes back to like a real normalcy.
Well, and when that does happen, I just want to know from you, what do you hope both the musician and the audience realizes, revelations they get from this time away, so when they return, there's some silver linings they understand? I think
what I'm hoping that they just understand how important the arts are. I think people are starting to see it right now from a glance because so many artists are online, doing performing living room concerts. But to be able to just feel it live and see us live, I think they'll probably have a deeper appreciation for the arts. And not just music. This is, again, across the board for people in dance and theater and orchestras, or even like the bigger concerts, like people who work for, working like Live Nation, people who do the football stadiums and things like that, I think there'll just be a deeper appreciation for it.
Yeah, that's my hope. Hey, Warren, man, thank you very much for taking a minute out. Stay safe, man. Thanks for all the music. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you, man.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest cats in New York City, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Warren for his time, dedication to jazz, and always for that cool. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino on the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, support the arts and enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.